And welcome back to Kings of Influence. I am one half of your hosting team, Ray William Johnson.
I'm the other half, Epic Lloyd, and it's Wednesday at noon. We're back live from my back office, a.k.a. the podcast room.
And what's that number they got to call?
We have a number you can call if you'd like to get a text when we're about to go live. It's text the word KINGS, K-I-N-G-S, to the number 43506. You'll get a text from us letting you know we're about to go live and when we're uploading videos. And we do that just because we know it's a big place out there. It's a big YouTube world. And sometimes you don't know when your people are uploading and stuff. So we're hitting you right direct with the text.
That's right. And you can also listen to us on everywhere podcasts are listened to. Spotify, iTunes, something called Stitcher, SoundCloud.
Go to your mom's house, and she's just going to repeat what we say verbatim and do impressions of us.
Because she learned about the episode the night before.
Yeah, that's right. We got a great episode for you guys today. A lot of interesting stuff going on. What do we got?
Do we?
Yeah, I think so.
What do we got? All right. So we got that actor, Jussie Smollett, who was a victim of a hate crime, apparently.
Yep.
We have the American Psychological Association issued new guidelines on toxic masculinity. That'll be fun to talk about. We got a company in the UK that claims it will brainwash someone for you. We got a funny high school student-teacher affair thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And then we get to talk about how YouTube is proactively killing conspiracy theories.
Okay, great.
I know.
Fantastic. That sounds like a juicy episode.
You want to talk about the weather.
It's negative 50 degrees in Chicago. It's ridiculous. I want to talk about this because I'm from Chicago, and I have a lot of friends in Chicago, and I've lived there when it's been cold, but this is record-breaking temperatures out there.
Yeah, it's called the Polar Vortex.
Something like that,
right?
Yeah. And it's like, well, it's negative 20, but it feels like negative 45 with the wind chill. That's just. Have you ever experienced cold of anywhere near that magnitude?
I got like a -7, I think, once in the mountains of Colorado.
Yeah,
one time, and it like hurts to breathe.
Your nose
sucks.
Like the boogers in your nose freeze immediately. Apparently, if you go outside in Chicago right now, you'll get frostbite almost immediately. They're driving around with buses like as heating stations for the homeless and just picking people up and stuff. Buddy of mine posted on Facebook today, hey man, how can you order to-go food for delivery when it's negative 20 degrees outside? And then he just posted a picture of Drago from Rocky IV. If he dies, he dies. I thought that was really funny.
Well, so apparently the mail isn't delivering.
Well,
that's how cold it is. Like the mail has decided we are not going to deliver today, which never happens.
Yeah, they shut down the mail. I mean, obviously schools are shut, businesses are shut down. And then the crazy thing is, on Friday or Saturday, it's supposed to be like 45 degrees.
What?
So it's supposed to swing from negative 50 degrees to like 45 degrees, like springtime weather on the weekend.
Well, it's the polar vortex, dude.
The craziness.
See, that sounds like a polar vortex sounds like something an Avenger would use to time travel.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe they're naming dangerous things, cooler things, so that people will pay attention.
Instead of like hurricane son of a bitch or whatever?
Yeah, like low humidity wind zone. It's like, blah, blah.
Okay.
Like polar vortex sounds like, I want to listen to that.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Like when a guy with an average sized penis names it Magnum Steel Lightning Rod.
Yeah. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Oh my God. I mean, I feel like the Chicago River is now frozen, which it's hard to freeze a river because the water moves.
Yeah.
And there's steam coming off of because the air is so much colder than the actual water because it freezes. It's like steam is coming off of the water and the wind is just blowing steam everywhere in downtown Chicago. It's nuts, man. And then there's people who are like, yeah, there's no polar. And then the president tweets that whatever that dumb tweet was about, like, man, bring back the global warming because this polar vortex is crazy. Yeah, what's going on with the global warming? Bring it back. You're like, really? Really?
You got to wonder about that because this guy, he's been around a while.
Yeah.
I get that he's got his own ideas, but he's got people around him. He is surrounded by people who are educated and competent and capable and credentialed, and yet he makes these asinine claims as if he doesn't, as if he's never been told the difference between climate and weather, as if no one's sitting there tapping him on the shoulder going, actually, this is...
When the polar caps melt, it messes up the wind and shit.
Right. It's it's different. Climate and weather are two different things. So it makes me think that he's just doing this to throw red meat out to his base.
Yeah.
Because he knows his base will like it.
He
knows better. He knows better than well, guess there's no global warming. Look at this cold weather.
Yeah. He just loves to get a rise out of everybody by being like, let me just say the thing that's the lowest common denominator on some people's mind. Like, oh, where's that warm now, man? Best wishing for that global warming now.
The president's tweets are the equivalent of Jerry Seinfeld telling a fart joke. It's like, come on, man. I know you have more information.
You're better than this.
Yes. Yes. Come on, man. You know better than this.
My God.
Jeez.
And I like the cold. I'm a person I live in LA and I miss the cold. I miss the snow. I like it. I was just in Idaho and Montana this weekend and it was really cold there and I love it. But not that cold.
You know what? No.
That's ridiculous. The
No.
people will die.
That's like Fortress of Solitude cold.
You'll die. You can't. That's why I always say, like, being homeless in Los Angeles, like the amount of people that are homeless in Los Angeles is too many because you can sort of squat and you'll be fine if it's at night or whatever. Maybe it'll rain or something.
Yeah, because the weather's nice.
Right. In Chicago, you're gonna die, man, unless you're really committed or figured that out, or you literally can't function anywhere else, or you're crazy. Like I mean, I can't imagine that the cops aren't just picking up bodies. That sounds pretty cryptic.
Wow, that's really gruesome.
I know, but like, right?
Yeah, I guess this would be the night where they go into shelters.
I mean,
because
yeah,
I say
they can
that
make it
because statistically, a lot of homeless, they refuse to go to shelters.
Well, shelters,
a lot of them.
I agree.
That's part of the problem.
Yeah, because they're not always safe. They're not always like people don't like it. They're on the street because they don't like
right, because they're
society.
antagonistic towards society, and so they think that's sort of part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But tonight they might be like, I might give society a try.
Yeah.
Society seems pretty warm.
So warm. Warm, open arms of society. Anyway, shout out to anybody listening who's from the Midwest. Stay warm. Keep those mittens on.
Shout out to Chicago. I sold out a theater in Chicago. Sorry. What kind of... An improv theater, excuse me. I was trying to think of the name of it. It was something weird called Shotgun or something like that.
Huh.
Son of a Gun or something like that.
Okay.
But I sold it out twice, and it was two of the best crowds I ever had.
Chicago's a great comedy town.
A wonderful city.
Great. It's my favorite city. It's my favorite city in the United States. I've been to almost all the major cities in the United States, and that's my favorite
It's
one.
got a cool vibe.
It's amazing.
It's like if New York City were in the Midwest with that because the Midwest has that charm.
Yeah, it's not quite as compact as New York City is.
Right.
It's a little bit more room. It's not as sprawling as LA.
It's got that flavor.
Yeah, and beer's like $3.
Yeah, I went to Chicago, had that weird deep dish pizza thing.
Yeah, lasagna with crust.
Basically, it was pretty good. I mean, I like New York pizza better, but
yeah,
who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Speaking of cold weather in Chicago, did you hear about this Jussie Smollett guy?
The guy got attacked.
Yeah, so he's an actor from the show Empire, and he's in Chicago. He's a 36-year-old actor. He goes out apparently at 2 a.m. to get Subway. He's leaving Subway, and allegedly he was approached by two men in ski masks, and they beat him up, fractured one of his ribs. They poured a chemical on him that they think is bleach. They tied a noose around his neck because Jussie is not only black but homosexual, openly homosexual. And they ran off saying, "This is MAGA country," as they were running off. So this is all what has been reported. Also, they were yelling homophobic slurs and the N-word and some of these things at him beforehand. I know.
This is right in the middle of the street. This is right in broad daylight.
No, this is 2 a.m. So it's a weird story because like 8 days before that, he got a letter that was mailed to Fox Studios where he shoots, and it was like an old school ransom note letter where they cut the individual letters out of magazines and paste it. I miss that.
Yeah.
They don't do enough of that anymore. So, and that letter it was like looked like it was written in crayon on the envelope and everything, but
him.
it said "You will die, black fag,"
God damn.
and it said MAGA on it from the return address.
That's why, that's why when you got a bunch of kids in Washington, D.C. and a Native American dancing in front of them and they all got MAGA hats on, that's why there's that equivalent of
Right,
the
that's why it looks
KKK
bad.
mask. That's what it is.
That's why it looks bad.
And they, a responsible president would be like, man, they're starting to equate this thing with this thing. Well, I'll just screw this thing. I'll just burn it and come up with a new slogan because I don't want to be anything associated with that, rather than embracing it and doubling down. That's shitty, man. That's scary. I wonder, I mean, obviously he's been targeted somehow. I don't watch that show, so I'm not quite sure, how famous he is or how many eyeballs he has on him or whatever. But God, is he outspoken about other topics or?
I think he's out. I think he's out. I think he's adamantly anti-Trump. I think, which is not uncommon for an actor, a Hollywood actor, to be that. So I don't know why they would target him. Well, the story to me, it's awful, and it doesn't even sound like something that came out of 2019. But at the same time, there's something off about that story. There's something really weird about it, and I can't quite figure it out as I'm reading these news articles and I'm piecing it together and I'm looking at the ransom note and everything. Because, he was in Chicago. He was in a hotel. I guess they were shooting something. So that means also the weather that night was only a couple nights ago. It was like, whatever, negative 10.
Right. And he was outside.
Right. So he was outside, 2 a.m. in negative 10-degree weather. And two guys, I guess, two MAGA champions... or whatever, two racists were walking around carrying bleach in a noose. And there's cameras all over Chicago, all over, especially that neighborhood. And it's apparently an upscale neighborhood, which makes it even weirder. And they haven't found anything on camera yet, according to the police report I read. So the story itself, I'm reading it and I'm going, there's something missing here.
Right.
So something is weird. So were these guys stalking him?
I mean, that's what it sounds like. If he got a letter a couple days previous, sounds like he's become the target of some kook out there who's gone nuts or something. And sounds like they knew where he was. They had the masks on. You don't just walk around. I mean, I guess if it's freezing out, you could have a face mask on, but I think you probably wouldn't have a face mask on. What did they beat him with, a stick or something?
I don't know. I guess fists.
It sounds like he got targeted. They knew where he was. They saw him, because how else would they know he was?
It would have to be that.
Yeah.
They would have to be they targeted him and waited for him to come out at 2 a.m.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird. Also, stalking usually doesn't happen in pairs. That's another thing that's a little weird about it. People stalk, sick individuals stalk. You don't usually get a friend involved.
I don't know.
I've
never seen one skinhead by himself.
That's true, but I don't know if skinheads stalk in this way. But I'm just saying there's something like a little weird about the whole story. It's like if there's a piece missing that I can't quite figure out. I'm not saying he fractured his own rib, because that seems insane.
Did he fight back? Is he in the hospital? What's
he
the
walked
status?
to the hospital?
He walked,
and he's doing better.
Yeah, I mean, that's a shitty thing. People forget about Chicago. They forget Illinois is the South, kinda like the Midwest. Like if you drive south to Southern Illinois, it's like cowboy hats and shit kickers and stuff. It's like cow country down there.
Yeah,
and it's not like the South, but it's the West more like, you know what I mean? Like ranch and corn and farm stuff. It's the people there are pretty rural out, and that's why Chicago is a really great place, is because there's so much land and so many small towns around it that a certain type of person is attracted to a metropolitan area. So they all kind of flock there. But you drive 45 minutes outside of Chicago and you're in cornfields and cornfields and cornfields. And sometimes those people are a little bit small-minded.
So you think these guys took a field trip into Chicago?
No, but I'm just saying they could have grown up that way, or they they very well could have. You know what I mean? They could have done that.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have stalked him that long and found out he was in the subway in the middle of Lincoln Park or wherever the hell it was.
Not in the subway.
Yeah, in a
Leaving
subway.
a subway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait,
The sandwich shop.
right, the sandwich
Yeah,
shop.
okay.
Right, in Chicago.
Got to get the details right, goddammit.
I know. Well, there is I mean, the L in Chicago is just whatever.
I don't believe a word of this.
He was
You
on
said Burger King and it was Carl's Jr. This is ridiculous.
Stop it. Well, man, I hope he gets better. Shit, that sucks. I wonder, like, they had masks on so we couldn't see them. Jeez, that sounds like you'd think that whoever makes face masks would just stop. Like, we don't need face masks, man. Like, come on. Or maybe they should make face masks, but there's a rule that they have to be transparent so that you can't use them any longer to commit crimes. So it has to be like a see-through face mask. I'm sure they can make that fabric work. Let's go.
Well, there's only a handful of things you could buy a face mask for reasonably.
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, what are you buying that? Were you going skiing? No. I mean, yes. Yes, I am.
Exactly.
I'm a hell of a skier.
Yeah.
Slalom.
The uses for a ski mask are, as you said, skiing, and even skiing is not really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Very weird. I just went skiing. I saw no face masks. I saw bandanas over the nose and goggles, but skiing face mask is like maybe snowmobiling. I don't know, maybe oil rig operator guy, but I feel like even still, it's so old school, and cloth is not the warmest thing. It's all about it's rape, pillage, murder, beat up.
And you look like such an obvious villain from an old Batman movie.
Yeah,
like a cat burglar.
I know. I mean, nobody in their right mind buys a face mask to actually go do crime. You got to do it's too obvious. It's too much. It's like a video game character from Grand Theft Auto.
Right. No. Well, that's my problem with roofies. Like, how do you? So if you're gonna buy roofies, how do you approach? Like, if I'm like, hey Lloyd, where do you think I could get some roofies? What's your question gonna be?
What do you need these roofies for?
I was just gonna roofie my. Well, I got to take a dog on a flight. You see.
Right.
You see.
Right. Well, they got Dramamine for that. You just want some Dramamine?
No, but I saw that Hangover movie, right? And I was hoping to have that kind of fun experience. Maybe Galifianakis will show up. It'll be a good time.
Oh, okay. Well, power to you, man. Welcome to Milwaukee. Yeah, man, that's rough.
That's always been my question with roofies. Like, if someone's asking around about roofies, maybe you should let somebody know.
It's Rupanol, right? That's the name of the drug, Rupanol?
I think it's, wait, Rupanol? I think the name is even longer than that.
Yeah. And roofie's just like I know.
GHB is the
that's what you're doing. You're drugging women when you drug people and men. You're drugging. That's what you're selling. If you're a guy who sells roofies, you're a rape salesperson.
You're like a rape pimp, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's worse things. I mean, there's people who peddle in sex trafficking and human trafficking, and they know what when you sell a person to a person, that's not good either, you know? So, God.
Would you just look the other way and hope for the best?
Right?
I'm sure their intentions are good. Here's a human.
They'll be fine. Awful.
Let's laugh some more about these horrible things.
It's because it heals us.
I think so. Comedy's good for you. But do we live it? So this is the country we're living in now. Yeah, I mean, assuming
a frozen
it's all
tundra where people get beat outside of sandwich shops for being gay.
Gay and black.
Yeah.
And potentially anti-Trump, and I'm not. Maybe that was involved. Maybe it was. I mean, they were on the letter. They had written MAGA, and allegedly they yelled MAGA as they were running away.
I never got that. What if you're a dude, bro dude? What is your problem with gay guys? They're not. That's one less person for you to compete with for the fucking girls you can't have. You know, that just never added up to me. What's your problem? And what if that guy was straight? You wouldn't like him anyway. So what's the problem? It just didn't compute.
Maybe they're such handsome lady killers. These bandits.
Yeah.
That everyone, including the gay men, hit on them all the time, and maybe they're sick and tired of it.
And they're just sick and tired of it. In Boys Town, they just can't walk home without being harassed.
I can't go for a dip in the public pool.
Yeah.
Without being ogled by some Nancy boy over in the corner, and it's got to stop. Maybe that's the whole thing.
Get my hat.
Their marriage is really, really ruining the sanctity of me and my third wife's
Yeah,
relationship.
exactly. Exactly.
That's what it's got to be, man.
Man, something. Well, I hope you get better, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
I saw,
Shout out to that guy.
yeah.
I didn't mean to question his story, but there really is something weird about it.
Well, I feel like
About
there's
all of it.
always something weird in those situations. You know, like there's something weird about a guy getting beat up at 2 a.m. with a sandwich in his hand. There's something. I
With the bleach and the noose and the
it's
and the
scare
cold.
That's obviously he's become the target of somebody's hate, man. Like you don't walk out of the house with a noose and randomly decide to go. You know, I feel like that is he was being sought after to scare him. And it's probably something about his stupid TV show where he said something or something he said on social media that triggered somebody who watches the show, or you know what I mean? Like that's the only reason I can see why someone would get locked in on him.
Well, you know, at those temperatures, it would be just as torturous if you just walked up and thumped his ear and ran away.
True.
I mean, imagine a beatdown at those temperatures.
Oh God, maybe you'd welcome it. It just warms you up.
Right? Just body heat, please.
Just get my body going.
Can we
just get
wrestle?
my heart bumping. Christ, man.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, definitely shout out to Jussie Smollett. Hope the guy gets better.
Yeah.
He does have a fractured rib. You can't fake that.
I mean, all in all, that's not the worst that could have happened. You know, he could have gotten a lot worse. So I'm glad he didn't. You know, you hear stories where people get just killed. They just get killed, you know, or you know, permanently injured somehow, or their face slashed, or some kind of knife or shot or something. So a rib being fractured is not good, but I'm glad it's not worse.
Yeah. Why does it sounds like this doesn't even belong in 2019.
I feel like it's
weird.
I feel like it's like, you know, when I'm trying to think of a good analogy, like the last fit of life that a suffocating animal has right before it dies. You know,
I was like gasping for air.
That last like jolt of like, no, still want racism, no, and then it's dead.
Yeah,
you know. But I mean, I don't think it'll ever go away permanently. But that's what it does feel like. I feel like we're the last. This is the last hurrah of a generation that is desperately trying to cling on to something or some image of things that is just already, the motion is too impossible to stop.
Well, people will always. I agree, but people will always find excuses to hate other groups. That's kind of the way humans are hardwired.
Yeah.
And it'll take a while for us to evolve away from that. Like, you know, it's like, oh, I hate them because they're black, and then, you know, I hate them because they're gay.
Yeah.
And I hate them because they're trans.
Yeah.
And, you know, in 10, 20 years, it'll be something different.
Yeah.
I hate them because they're vegan.
It's weird because it's like war will never stop, right? Wars will never stop, but the PR is now so much more intense for wars. Back in the day when you were in Vietnam, you would have all these slang words for the people you were fighting, and in World War II, and, you know, the Japs or the Krauts or whatever you would call them. And now when you go to war, it's like you can't even really hate your enemy because it doesn't read good on PR, which is, I was thinking about that the other day. It's like, I'm not advocating for war, but like, what a mind fuck that is, of like, you're trying to kill people, but at the same time be nice about it. You like
ethically kill people.
Yeah, you know, like you're trying to like make it like it's nice. You're not trying to say anything mean about them. We're just gonna kill them. It's like what? That's so twisted. But
what do you? Sorry, what do you mean? I guess I'm not following.
Like, you know, you have a war in Iraq, you have the war in Afghanistan and stuff, and they've changed war to conflict. You know, and they like soften all these terms. And if I'm being told to kill a person or kill a group of people, I need to, I don't know, I've never been asked to do it, but I would assume I have to like change my mind to hate these people, everything about them, because I have to survive and kill them. And so that's going to make me call them different names and make me hate all of them, just all of them. I'm not trying to like pick out just the bad ones. I'm like, anybody who looks like you, sounds like you, on your team, anybody wearing your uniform, my enemy. And that's kind of how war used to be. Like, you guys line up on your side, we'll line up on our side, and we'll like walk slowly toward each other with guns, and we'll take turns firing on each other. And it was like clear. And now it's this mixed up PR, don't know who we're fighting versus who we're defending. And even in the news, you can't really demonize the enemy anymore because the public doesn't like that.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy. I mean, maybe, and hopefully war just becomes a thing of the past in
I think so.
general. But
Well, the war as we know it,
yeah.
Will, I think it's evolving right now into cyber war. We're starting to see that. Like you don't drop a bomb on another country. You cause that country chaos by interfering with their elections.
Yeah.
Or knocking out their power grid.
Yeah.
Or getting their population to have a lot of infighting.
Yeah.
And stuff. Like that'll be the new war, which I prefer over the alternative, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you're asking me my opinion.
But the thing is, like, you wouldn't even know that was happening. The government would never tell its own people that, like, psst, hey guys, we're secretly sabotaging Russia via their Facebook
No, but when it
feeds.
happens to you, your government will tell you.
Yeah, but it still wouldn't be acceptable for us to be like, as a country, fuck Russia, or as Americans be like, anybody who's Russian, I hate those guys. You know what I mean? Or like, that wouldn't be acceptable. It would be like, well, there's bad people in Russia,
Right.
and we don't like those bad people, but there's good people there too. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make it easy to be in a physical war with someone.
Right. Well, and it's the same thing when you hate another group. Psychologically, logically, you have to dehumanize the other group in order to be okay with attacking them.
Yeah.
It's actually normal to feel bad for punching, like if you punch someone in the face or something and they're legitimately hurt, even if you were mad at them or you hate them, like it's normal to feel bad.
Yeah.
So what you have to do in order to justify it is that you have to tell yourself, well, this person isn't human or they're not right or whatever, because everything that human beings do, we either do it because we feel good about it or we feel justified for it. We don't do shit because, like, we don't gravitate towards things because we feel bad. Oh, I hate doing this and therefore I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
Like, even if you have a job you hate and it's terrible, like you feel justified in doing it. You're like, well, I got to pay my bills. I got to take care of my kids.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
You got to be able to draw it back.
Right. And you have to do that with conflict as well. You have to say, well, it's okay that we mess with their elections because they're bad people. They deserve it.
Yeah. But we just, as a society in general, are so mistrusting of the government now that nobody would think that. You know, I would never think that. I would never think that was okay. So then,
Like messing with an election?
yeah. Like
Yeah.
if we heard that, and it's 100% probability that we do. Like anything that's happened to us, 100% probability.
You talking about United States?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am
Well,
positive.
Yeah, I think in, was it 2016 or 2015, I mean, Putin accused the United States of interfering with his election,
I'm sure.
which wasn't a democratic election by any means.
Sure.
Which I think was what was making the United States justified in doing it.
Yeah.
Or not, was what they were telling themselves to make it justified. I'm not saying it was justified.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what'll bring us all together for sure, and reset the whole thing is when aliens
Avenger.
come.
Oh,
When aliens come.
well, yeah, like
When-
Independence Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as we need to, like, we're like, oh fuck, they're bugs or whatever they look like, penguins, whatever they look
We
like.
got to band together.
It'll be like, because humans are tribal, right? But then the tribe will be humans.
Yes.
And not like Germans or Russians or Chinese or whatever. That'll be that I feel like that's gonna happen one of these days in the next 2,000 years. Yes.
The alien warfare or the robot
Dude,
warfare.
it's coming.
Well, they're easy to dehumanize.
You
You see what I'm saying? So now you've got all the humans on one side and all the non-humans on the other side, and it's easy to be like, yeah, we got to kill them. They're bugs.
Yeah. It's coming, dude. 2,000 years from now. Do you think the Earth will make it another 2,000 years?
I don't know, man. I'm skeptical.
I am too.
2,000 years is a long time.
Kinda, but not really. I mean, 2,000 years ago was like when Jesus was here. And with regard to the world and the Earth and the solar system, 2,000 years is a fart in the wind. It's nothing. Not even anything at all.
That's
2
true.
million years is nothing.
Right. For a planet, it's not a big deal.
Right.
For Jesus to have been here 2,000 years ago, it feels like a long time.
Yeah. But it's like, what do they say? It's 20 people ago.
20 people ago?
Yeah, that's like Joe Rogan's joke. He talks about if a human lives to be about 100 years old, like 200 years is 2 people ago. So 2,000 years is what? 20 people.
I don't understand the people. What am I missing?
It's like 2 lifetimes.
Oh, like 2
essentially.
generations?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see
Two-
what you're saying.
two
Like 20
genera-
generations
Yeah.
ago.
When you think about it like that, it's like, oh, it isn't really that long. You know, like you've been online when there's 20 people in line before. Like, yeah, there's 20 of us now. You know, just think that as a lifetime. It's not that long ago. That just blows my mind. It makes me feel so insignificant. Why are we even doing this podcast, Ray?
Oh my God. Everything is meaningless.
Oh boy.
I am the son of the
I know.
Lord. They will be talking about me 2,000 years from now. I have the best sandals. Never have I seen a better pair of sandals than the ones I have on my feet. No collusion.
Get in this cave.
Man, you ever heard of the American Psychological Association? Me neither. Okay.
No. Call it something cool like Frozen Tundra or whatever.
Right.
Like the
Polar
crazy groups.
The Polar Vortex.
Yeah.
So the APA, as we call it in the hood.
Oh, I've heard that.
So the APA is this professional organization designed to guide psychologists, right? And so recently they issued these new guidelines on essentially treating toxic masculinity. So they issue they're not rules, but I guess they're just guidelines to therapists and psychologists and stuff, and they say, look, we've sort of isolated this group, and this is how we think you should deal with this group, because this is how this group is treated and how they feel about certain things, and they do it to groups all the time, like certain groups all the time. Like a few years back, they put out guidelines for treating young women in a world where, it's not magazine covers anymore. It's like Instagram, and there's all this sort of body envy.
Sure.
So how do you approach treating young women in this world that we're dealing with that? And now their focus is, how do you as a psychologist, how do you treat men in this world of toxic masculinity, in this world where there are certain behaviors that are expected of them that we find to be unhealthy?
Okay. That sounds pretty productive, I think.
It is, and I may be painting it really well, because I don't jump on the outrage train, but there was an outrage train, a big one,
Sure.
and it was sort of politicized. Like, you're taking our manhood away.
They're taking our balls.
But the thing is, like, what it's designed to do is it's designed to help men. It's not designed to put men down. It's basically designed to say, men are suffering more than they should be. And they're doing it because the expectations of men are such that they aren't actually in touch with, this is going to sound really hippie, but like the parts of them that the full spectrum of healthy emotions.
Right.
Sadness and
Right.
fear
Right.
and
Be
some
a
of these
man.
things. Be a man. Right. There's all
don't
that.
cry.
And what that's leading men to do, and statistics will show this, is it's leading men to commit suicide more often.
Yeah.
Men are more likely to be addicts. Men commit more crimes. All of those things. And what the APA is saying is we won't call it toxic masculinity, because I think that fucks with people, but that these sort of social expectations of guys, be stoic, be a man, like be a hero, don't back down. All these things are putting males in a bad position.
Yeah, I feel like those things used to be necessary back in the day. I mean,
and sometimes they may still be.
Yeah.
Sometimes they may still be, but I think just overall.
yeah.
Overall,
I feel like in today's day and age, yeah, and with the communication that we have, and with the reach that we have, and the society that we have, but I definitely understand where that came from.
Yeah.
Even in so much, like I said, I was on vacation this weekend. I was in Idaho and Montana, and that's like mining country, silver and lead and all these things. And you had to be a tough person to survive out in that type of an environment, and not only like physically tough, but mentally, you couldn't dwell on things. And if you did, that would just eat you alive. And like, I understand where the idea of like, just shut it out of your brain, man. Just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. Because I know what it's like. If say you're doing like a bench press, right? And you're like, I'm going to do 20. And all of a sudden a little voice in your head goes, you could probably just quit. That's the thing that stops you. Your muscles could probably do it if you just made that voice go away and concentrated on something else. So I understand where that mentality comes from. It's just outdated now.
Yeah,
You just don't need it anymore.
Right. It was very useful back in the hunter-gatherer age.
Yeah.
Back when the life expectancy was like 17 years old.
Well, no, I'm even talking about like 1850,
Sure.
1900s.
Back when life expectancy was 29 years old. But, no, but these things were necessary, and they still are in a lot of situations. They still are, in times of war and some of these things where you would want guys to be brave and do all this stuff. Although bravery wasn't necessarily named in that, but you would want guys to not back down and be more stoic, and who cares if they're in touch with their feelings and all this stuff. Of course, then they come back with PTSD.
Yeah, and they kill themselves and all that shit.
Right.
Or they're like secretly burying bodies in the attic later on.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I get that. Like, I feel like they always say, I've always said, like, big guys get in more fights than little guys because big guys are always sizing each other up when they walk in the room. I was, as a smaller dude, I've never really had that sort of like conflict too much where, oh man, this guy's squaring up on me, because anybody who's big and fights, they look at me like a different animal. Like, my big dog looks at my little dog like a different species of thing. They don't even really think they're the same thing. But I see how that happens where, especially when you said don't back down, that's like really like, it's like, don't be a pussy, man.
Right.
Like, don't, and then they lock eyes and you could smell it. You could feel it and taste it in the room. You're like, oh shit, something's going to happen. It locks over. You become animals. And then in terms of that, that's how men treat each other. And then that bleeds over in how you treat women and other races or people who don't have as much power as you and all that stuff. You would have to like defuse that over time. You have to really work to diffuse that in your brain.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a learned, like, social pressure is learned, right? You don't back down or whatever. You don't want to back down because you don't want people to see you backing down, and you don't want to be upset at yourself and all these things because you're told that's the way you're supposed to be or whatever. Yeah. And what the APA is saying is like, we got to unlearn some of that stuff of like, you don't need to be stoic. You can, it sounds so hippie saying it out loud, but I'm like, well, the data backs it up, but like, it's actually healthy for dudes to cry and all that stuff.
It's a weird thing though, because at the same time, you're like, all right, don't be in conflict all the time. Don't be aggressive. Don't be confrontational. But at the same time, when you see something, say something. So they're trying to teach you the exact thing, but in different places. It's like, that's hard, Right. Like hopefully my dad is listening, but I love him very much, but he's sort of a confrontational guy, and it can rub people the wrong way in certain situations. But I've seen him multiple times in public step in when he needed to step in situations and like get in between people or stop something from happening that was weird, or like that people who don't like conflict would shy away from doing. That same bone in his body that makes him the hero also makes him the asshole sometimes. So it's tough. It's hard to be a man.
Right. What I'm saying is being a man is tough.
It's always been harder.
Well, but to the APA's credit and to the discredit of everyone who reacted like a dick to what the APA put out and politicized it and said they're attacking men, to the APA's credit, what they're saying is it is hard to be a man. Yeah. It is really hard because of these expectations, these unrealistic expectations that are put on men. We can't all be a hero. Right. It's mathematically impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what was the backlash? I didn't hear it. So I'm sure the same people who are like pissed about the Gillette commercial.
It's the Gillette commercial type backlash.
God, dude, I was in the gym the other day with my wife, and these dudes right next to us, they were just like talking about pussy and talking like openly like, locker room talk. And in my mind, I was just like, the best a man can get. That's all I do now. Whenever I hear that, I just hear that little ad in my head.
Just bro. You know that waitress from Chili's the other night?
Oh yeah, bro.
The one with the Princess Leia hair buns?
Oh yeah, bro.
Did her.
Nice. Hard?
Did her right in the thing.
Nice, bro. Did you use the Force?
Oh, the Force Awakened, bro.
Nice.
Bro, let me put those weights down and give me a high five.
Yeah. The best a man can get. Yeah, they were totally talking about. They were just saying some rude shit, But yeah,
got some punani, bro. It was redonkulous.
Yeah.
Like just using all that bro language.
It was like pushing her head down into that pillow, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I was just like, "Fuck that bitch." You're like, ugh.
Guys, I know we're not in church, but like,
Yeah, I know.
there's people around.
Yeah.
Can we?
I know. It's like,
What
did
do
you
you-
did your mama ever tell you like don't talk that way about people or anything?
Bro, the whole time I was thinking about how I can't wait to get to the gym to tell you.
Oh,
and
dude.
tell you about it in detail.
You should have texted me during it, dude. Send me a pic of that shit.
Oh, bro. Oh,
Hot.
you should hook me up with a bro job.
Yeah. The best.
He's like going down. And the
A
music
bro
A
job?
bro job.
That's just what you get when there's nobody else around.
It's like it's beyond a high five from a bro. Like he wants to high five you so hard, but that's just not going to do it.
Yeah.
He's so happy you got laid. He gives
Yeah.
you a
And it's not. We're not gay, bro. We're,
No.
we're not gay.
no.
Bro jobs aren't gay, bro.
No, we're not looking at each other.
Yeah.
Not gay if you don't make eye contact. You know the rule. Come on, bro.
That's funny.
Well, anyway, shout out to the APA.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I don't get. Well, whatever. I don't get the pushback that some of that stuff gets. Because the data's not wrong, and it's not, and it's not like they're trying to bring men down.
No, like people will be like, well, they're trying to raise a generation of pussies. You know that's what. Like no matter how many times someone told me to turn the other cheek is the better thing to do, I always feel shitty when I do it.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's how. I don't think it was how I was raised. I think it's an innate
it might
lizard
be
brain thing of competitiveness. I don't like turning it down.
It might be, and that's the thing that they're saying. Like, it's actually healthy to turn the other cheek, and it's okay. Like, if you don't feel guilty about it.
Yeah, I know it's okay, and I know it could be nurture, but I do think it's nature.
Sure.
If someone calls my girl a bitch in front of me, and I just be like, "It's all right, let's just go away," I feel awful. It doesn't matter who says what about it. Everything in my body wants to fight at that.
Yeah,
point.
agree. Me too.
And as long as he's smaller than me. And
Me too.
But like, I don't think that that's taught. I don't think that that's masculinity taught. I think that is natural.
It could easily be a little of both too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easily, because you and I might innately look down on someone if they did that. Like some guy, if he didn't stick up for it, we might be like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
that guy didn't stick up for his."
Or you see it in movies, or you see like great moments when someone really acts it up, and like you want to be like that. You want to feel triumphant in that way. They don't, they don't play the triumphant music when the guy turns the other cheek because it's not a good movie. It sucks.
Well, but think about the position that puts the guy in, though. So he's got some options. Let's say he doesn't turn the other cheek.
Mhm.
He's got some options. Let's say he lashes out, gets in a fight. So now he's a violent offender. So that's one thing he can do.
Sure.
The other thing, he can back down and feel like a coward
Yeah.
and be all depressed about it.
Yeah.
So like his options either way are really, really shitty.
Lose.
And I think that's what they're trying to address.
Yeah.
And then to say, look, if you do back down, like it's fine. Or if you turn the other cheek, or anything, like you don't immediately punch the guy in the face, like it's fine.
You shouldn't be meant to feel lesser.
Yes.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah.
And those people are a hell of a lot smarter than me about psychology. So even if I was like a meathead, I would at least know these people have made it their life's work to study this type of thing.
Yeah.
And if this is what they're coming to the conclusion of as a group, not even just an individual, as a APA as itself, like at least listen to it,
That's what I try to do. I mean, it makes sense when I read through it. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not like, man, I can't. They're telling me I can't punch this guy in the face at a bar if I lose at a game of pool. Man, that is bullshit. Sometimes.
Yeah.
No, that's like I don't.
It's
whatever.
old school. It's like those people who get in fights at their kids' little league game.
Oh God, those people.
You're like, what are you? Or people who take charades too seriously, or like they're just too competitive. You're just like, what hole are you trying to fill right now, man? What's going on in you? Who hurt you, man?
Who hurt you? Who hurt you, man?
Yeah.
Who hurt you? I had a friend back in the day who was that competitive guy.
Yeah.
And because you said charades, I remember
Ugh.
we were playing charades with a group one night, and the teams were such that he ended up being on one team, and his girlfriend, who had only dated like a month or two, was on the other team. and he was so competitive, he like didn't trust the other team, thought that they were cheating.
Yeah.
These are like teams of 3 people.
And it's
we're sitting
charades.
5 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
So he's like getting out the stopwatch and like clocking their time because he doesn't think they're keeping their time properly.
Yeah.
And by the end, everyone is literally going, dude, do you think your girlfriend is cheating at this game of charades?
Yeah.
A game in which there are literally no stakes.
I know it. And this is the problem with that is
and
usually
we were all sober. Like,
I know everybody's sober. Usually, there's 1 or 2 other people who are pretty competitive too.
Yeah.
So it can't be like the whole group. If the whole group would just be like, "Shut up, stop it," they might change. But usually, there's somebody else who's also pretty competitive, and so it just feeds the whole fire. And
it makes the game not fun.
I know. I can't do it. I can't get too invested in that stuff. I love it when it's fun. It is fun. Let's joke around. Let's pal around. But if you're actually challenging and like looking into the rule book and forget it. I'll just smoke this weed and laugh at you from the side.
No, man. I get those people away. I mean, when I encounter those people about things that aren't serious, like a game of charades, I always say, you win. Like, you win, man. You win. Way early. No, you win, because it diffuses all of their, actually it upsets them, but it diffuses that competitiveness because they are competing against someone who doesn't care.
Yeah.
And so at the end, when they get bragging rights, you go, yeah, I told you. I'm not, it's fine.
I give no shits.
You can win.
Yeah. Congrats, buddy.
Dumbass.
Man, how did we even get talking about all this?
Charades? I don't know.
Oh, no, it was the APA. That's right.
Right. So, let me get a drink of water.
Okay. Water. Brought to you by my back house. It's so good, you'll want more.
For those of you listening at home, Lloyd just changed underwear in front of us.
It was hot. So hot. Swamp ass.
God, Lloyd, put it away. So for $29, there is a company in the UK that says it will brainwash someone for you on Facebook through Facebook ads, like Russian style.
Like just flood their feed with a certain type of. What if they're not on Facebook?
All right, you're already poking holes in their business model.
Defeated. Next.
So this company called The Spinner, and they're this startup, and they claim that they will target an individual user on Facebook and bend him or her to their client's will.
Wow.
So they will target someone in your life with a barrage of Facebook ads, like subtly designed to influence behavior. They're like the Cambridge Analytica.
Like if I am in a, I don't know, if I'm trying to convince somebody to open a business in Seattle and they're like, I don't know about Seattle, they'll just like steadily feed things like Amazon opens a new office in Seattle, real estate prices rise in Seattle.
That's exactly what it is.
Coffee actually gets good in Seattle.
So supposedly you can request a custom campaign, or you can select from 10 ready-made ad runs like propose marriage.
Wow.
Stop drinking.
Proposed marriage means they're targeting women. Like that guy's just gonna get ring ads and guilt ads. Holy shit!
Also, if you're manipulating your partner like that, maybe
I know, right?
Marriage isn't the best. The best-selling ones have to do with initiating sex. That's when it gets into a weird moral territory for me.
Yeah, that's like mental. So initiating sex, you mean like, hey, have the girl initiate sex with me?
Yeah, like, hey, it's time to have sex.
Oh, like
we've been dating for a while. I imagine. Initiate sex was all it said. They also have ones that are like, get your kid a dog, that are supposedly popular with the kids. But yeah, you targeted.
Like the kids target the parents?
Yeah.
That can't be
supposedly
legal.
Well, I think there's bullshit written all over this story, because they're getting all this information through interviewing the CEO, who I think is partial. I think he's a bullshitter, to be honest.
All those startup guys are like, they're all bullshitters.
Well, he also said they made $5.1 million in revenue last year alone.
Okay, let me see a P&L.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
well, for $29, for an ad, like $29
for one campaign.
I guess that's like the cheapest campaign. But those are pretty low prices for you to be pulling in $5.1 million.
I don't know. $29
in a year? On Facebook ads?
Yeah. I mean, that's
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of people.
That's a lot of kids wanting
love
dogs.
that. I love that it's for dogs, though. I imagine if they got real specific, like, buy me this Fortnite game, and it just like pop up of like the educational value of video games skyrockets in 2019.
Yeah. I think there's a thing on Facebook, like if you click through to a New York Times article and you see all those like ads on the side, I think part of that has to do with data that they've collected on Facebook of yours. So I think even if you aren't using Facebook all the time, you're still getting those ads because of the way it all works.
Yeah, the customer, like if I do a search for a ring light on eBay or Amazon, tomorrow I'm going to get ads about e-lights or ring lights on Facebook.
Right. And that's done through like a third-party company. I can't remember what the name of the company is.
AdSense,
stuff's pretty complex.
like
It's no, AdSense is Google.
Yeah.
It's a different company. But anyway, I believe they put out those banner ads on the sides of those news websites and any website you visit.
Yeah.
It's all kind of one company, and they collect your data from Google and places like Facebook.
I was reading the comments of our podcast last week when we talked about the Instagram model who was like essentially CGI.
You read comments?
Yeah, I read those comments.
All right.
And someone was saying, and this struck me so crazily, and it's just like the future. Pretty soon, it'll just be a generated person that the ad, rather than seeing an image of a product, it'll be a person who talks directly at you and says the things you want to hear. Like, hey, Ray, did you see this new, or like, hey, Ray, congratulations on Manuary. Did you see this new protein powder we got? You should come check this out, man. It's on sale. And that's going to be the ad.
It's like a combination of a car salesman and a yes man.
Yeah. Exactly. It'll just be
wow,
someone pitching you what you already want, and then you'll walk by, and then it'll be the next person, and it'll be like, "Hey, Lloyd, did you see that dick shrink pill? Yeah, you better work on that."
That is also relevant to my interest. Yes.
That's where it's going. We're so good at reading our own future in a lot of ways. I feel like I've seen that in movies. What was it?
Back to the Future 2, they had those hologram ads.
Hologram ads, and what's the Harrison Ford movie?
Blade Runner,
and even some of the Star Wars ones a little bit or Terminator. It's not Terminator.
Total Recall.
Total Recall.
Yeah.
They're just talking to you about. An ad is just talking directly to you about a product that you would like, and that is all computer generated. That's gonna happen.
Yeah. What was that? What was that Stallone movie that I believe did that too? Demolition Man.
Yeah. Judge Dredd or Demolition Man.
Demolition Man, where they had the three seashells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then even in that movie, there was the virtual sex where I think she's like, "Do you want to have sex?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Okay." And she goes and she gets the VR helmet. And he's like, "What is this?" She's like, "This is how we have sex now." That's so real. That's like gonna be. That's 50 years away. Not even. That's nuts. We'll see that.
They're gonna eliminate sex, like actual physical sex.
I mean, the kids are already having less sex. We've already talked about that.
That's true.
People are having less physical sex. They're having less children. They're doing more. Then they're having less sex because they're wanking it,
looking up more porn.
You know, and also they're probably doing chat rooms and cam rooms and any of that other stuff that you can do now. That's low stress. There's no STDs. There's no, you pay her to say goodbye and all that stuff. It's crazy.
So like 100 years into the future, you're going to have these people who are like, let's do it. And then they basically just stand in front of each other and masturbate.
You don't need to be physically intimate to have children anymore. You can do that shit in the lab.
Okay.
You don't need to be in the same country to be in a relationship with somebody anymore. My niece and nephew will never know what it's like not to be able to see someone immediately when they want to see someone.
Yo, you're talking about FaceTime and...
Exactly. Like, they'll never know what a phone call is. Like, I went on the phone with my niece the other day. It confused the shit out of her. She's like, "Where is he?" Because I was just like in my car, just driving. And I was
How
like,
old is
"Hey."
she? 23?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, that's crazy. Like, you'll think about that. You'll never understand what it's like not to be able to physically see someone when you want to.
They'll never know what it's like not to be on a phone that's tethered to the wall.
Yeah.
Remember that shit?
Yeah. The cord and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people who don't know what that's like.
Yeah.
Like, there are people born in 2000 that are 19 years old now, man. Like, the 2000s.
Wow, that's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Born in 2000, now they're 19.
That's cell phone time for sure.
They weren't living in that time of Rugrats and
No, man.
Rocko's Modern Life and
None of that shit.
none of the good old days.
None of that shit.
Wow.
It's crazy. I'm kind of excited for some of it, to be honest. I'm excited for some of it.
You're just waiting for the robot sex.
I'll do it.
You'll give it a shot?
I mean, maybe. Who knows? I think I wonder what the zeitgeist around it would be. I wonder if it's going to be shameful or if it'll be like accepted or when AI becomes an actual society and when it gets to vote. Damn.
Well, if there's one thing that I've noticed that's been consistent in all of this, it's that humans want to connect with other humans. Now, some of those ways are more artificial than others. Some of them are online and some of them are in person, but people always want to be involved or around other people in some way.
Yeah.
Right? So that being said, I don't know. The robot sex is possible and it's probably already happening to some extent. Robot relationships, I don't know if that'll ever be a mass thing because people like other people. We don't even like watching a movie if there's too much damn CGI that we can see how bad the CGI is because it just doesn't feel real. Like we crave that authenticity in a lot of ways.
Yeah. You like to actually feel loved.
Yes.
And like you have an effect on somebody. But it's only a matter of time before they can replicate that too.
Damn, man, you're cynical as hell.
Dude, I'm dark.
Like it's only a matter of time.
I'm dark.
Only a matter of time before...
Game over, man!
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before you meet someone. Well, it's like the old sort of transsexual nightmare where you go on a date with someone and you're making out with them and you're getting really far and you're hooking up and then you discover that they're not the sex that they claim that they were.
Right.
Right? And it's like this old cliche comedy nightmare or whatever. The future version of that is that you discover that they're a robot.
Right.
You're not even human.
Right.
I liked you.
Yeah, right.
You had a good resume.
I know. Then you're racist against robots. They have movies about that for sure.
Racist against robots?
Yeah. Well, that's the name of my indie band. But,
okay, racist against robots.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's not a bad name.
I feel like that movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix was kind of about not
where he
about
fell
race.
in love with Siri or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she had to bring like a real person to the room and like act out what she was saying through the actual physical person. So she was using the human as a host. And then there's like I feel like the movie AI was about that where, robots start to be sentient and then people are treating them like slaves and things.
Jude Law was a robot prostitute.
Yes. Yeah.
A robot escort. Sorry, because he's British. He's classy.
Yeah.
It's escort.
Well, just think about it. If Siri can understand a question by the inflection that your voice makes when you say it, that leads to being able to understand undertone and sarcasm and double meaning and anger and emotion right down the road. So it's not too long before you can program something to react to diffuse or engage or challenge or sympathize or empathize.
Right.
You can program all those things. They're all basically just you plug it into an equation and then it reacts in a way that, if the robot is antagonistic, then every time there's something that's challenging, it does this. If it's sympathetic, every time there's something that's sad, it does this. That's how you replicate love.
And I bet it would move really fast, too. Because if you think about the way machines learn versus the way humans learn, like, you'll learn a ton of stuff in your lifetime, right?
Right.
Then you die, and then the generation below you, they got to learn all that shit again. They got to learn how to walk. They got to learn the ABCs. I mean, you can teach them.
Yeah.
But they've still got to learn and all of those life lessons as they get older. A robot, you can just transfer it from one generation to the other, and they'll get it. So they will learn it fast. The second they detect sarcasm, all of them will know it.
Yeah.
And every generation beyond that will know it.
It's all going to be terminated.
Oh, my God.
It's all game over, man.
I'm never having human sex again.
Man.
Well, buddy.
Stoner.
I think it's about time to play Stoner Thoughts.
We just had a whole Stoner Thought conversation.
We did. Sometimes we get into rants like that.
Yeah. If you haven't heard the Stoner Thoughts segment of the Kings of Influence show, we basically kind of give you thoughts that are similar to the shower thoughts, where we basically tell you a little snippet, a little tidbit that you would only really say when you're blazed off that fluff. So, and then we talk about it. I love coming up with new words for weed. You can basically say anything, you know?
Right. Man, I'm hitting that Polish sausage real good.
Hell
you know what I'm saying?
bro. Sneezed off that hay.
Woo! I am hurting from that teddy bear.
Oh, hell yeah, dog. I got that dragon, son.
Dragon, son. Woo! Got me feeling tingly from smoking all that meat curtain.
Whoa, bro.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Congratulations. Now we have those dudes in the gym again. Bro. Smoke that meat curtain.
Well, bro, I was smoking that meat curtain all night, bro.
The best a man can get.
But I guess you could do the same thing with sexual intercourse, too.
Mm-hmm. Hell, bro.
So, bro, man, I put all my lamps into her submarine. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hell yeah. Park that Jeep.
All right, buddy. Here we go.
All right.
Stoner Thoughts.
The mailman never enters your house, so as far as your dog is concerned, his barking is working. Whoa.
That's true.
Yeah. Your dog thinks he's a badass.
Yeah. Mailmen are scared of dogs. Mailmen do not. I've been walking my dog, and mailmen specifically walk the other way. And when my dog starts going out the door, like, they drop that shit and run. Like, they go fast. It makes sense. 1 out of every 50 dogs gets out, which could happen.
Yeah.
It's happened to me. They just get out somehow or whatever. Shit, now you got to deal with that. And even if that dog is generally friendly, when it feels like it's defending its territory, it's a different animal.
Yeah.
And now you're fucked.
Well, that's why they carry the pepper spray. I would too.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, a neighborhood dog approached me. I was like out doing whatever kids do.
Yeah.
Before video games and
yeah.
Well, we had video games. We also played outside. You damn heathens. you uncultured bastards.
In the woods.
We played outside. So anyway, I'm out in the neighborhood riding my bike home or something, and a dog approached me, and this dog was bigger than me, and it was growling, and all intents and purposes, this dog was about to eat me alive.
Yeah.
And I may have been 7 or 8 years old, and I was like frozen. I had no idea what to do because every time I tried to take a step back, like it would take a step forward.
Oh, God, that's
it was
terrifying.
one of those things. Yeah, and out of nowhere, this like kind of little pudgy old male lady walked by and was like, punked the dog. Had no fear of dogs.
Yeah.
Was like, get out of here. Like,
hell yeah.
Did one of those things. And that dog was like, yipe, yipe,
Yeah.
yipe.
Yeah.
It was nuts. I'll never forget it to this day because I was like, thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
And this woman came by with just no fear of dogs.
She had that mother bear instinct in her
Yeah.
right there. Like, get away from that kid.
Yeah. And that dog, like, she just like did a like a step, like a stomp that they do in professional wrestling.
Like,
And that
Ronda
dog
Rousey
like
does?
ran.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Did you give her a thank you hug?
Bro. I did her.
Hell yeah, bro. Did you deliver that package?
Oh, yeah. Straight from that Amazon drone, bro.
Oh, dog.
Oh.
The best a man can get.
That's got to be a series of commercial parodies, man.
Right?
Stoner Thoughts.
Ice cubes swim in the blood of their brethren.
That's a good one. I don't even need to talk about that one.
I'm melting! I know. That was so good.
I get drop new ones. Ice and water. It's like when you, like you said, put chicken in an omelet. It's like ice and water.
Yeah, exactly.
Stoner Thoughts.
A child's laughter at 3 a.m. can be scarier than a gunshot.
Oh, God.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those horror movies where they use that the kids laugh just right. Oh.
It's like, I feel like the first couple movies I freaked out about scary kids were like Children of the Corn and then Pet Cemetery.
Yeah.
That one with, what was his name? Gage or something, where the kid comes back and he's like, you're with me now, or some shit.
Yeah.
That baby was freaky.
Both Stephen King, I believe.
Pet Cemetery for sure, Stephen King.
I think Children of the Corn is Stephen King, too.
I'm not sure. Maybe it could be. Wouldn't be
Can
surprised.
you look that up, sir? Not that
Children.
matters at any, but yeah, man, kids, if they use kids or clowns in a horror movie the right way,
Yeah.
no thank you. I'm
Yeah,
out.
Yeah.
Nope.
Stoner Thoughts.
People would probably work out a lot more if they could see their strength in a stats screen.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Dude, no doubt.
Yeah, I totally would.
No doubt.
Nothing better than seeing that in a video game
Yeah.
or
Being-
even in a fight.
yeah, seeing
Remember Punch Out?
like your energy goes up. or
Yeah, it goes
whatever.
up and down and stuff, and
Yeah.
their energy goes up and down.
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
I'd probably fight a lot more if
I
that could happen.
I was walking in with an advantage.
Yeah,
Anybody, you just gotta look at the ears, man. Anybody with those KFC ears?
KFC ears. Or what if their energy bar is just a lot longer than mine? I'm like, I'm good, man.
not, man.
No,
I'm not.
I'm solid.
You can have my money.
Did
Yeah.
you see the energy bar on him?
Yeah, bro, long.
Bro, I did him.
Nice.
Stoner thoughts.
People would probably birthdays are weird because your mother did all the work and you get all the praise. Whoa, that's true. Congratulations on being born.
Yeah.
Congratulations on doing that thing that literally everyone who is alive has done.
Yeah.
You were
Today's the
birthed.
day of you.
Exactly.
Nice. My mom did all that work. I was born in 20 minutes.
I don't know if that's a short amount of time or not. I'll never
It
have
is.
kids. I don't.
It is. Yeah. My mom was a baby making machine. She was easy.
You
about
look
that.
like they rushed through it. I could see that.
Ah, man. What do we got?
Stoner thoughts.
Having a job where you get paid to do nothing sounds great until you're stuck at work watching the clock, watching the seconds crawl by.
Yeah.
Woo.
Whoa.
No,
F
thank you.
That would be awful.
Yeah.
Stoner
Oops.
thoughts.
All right, getting a little too jumping ahead of myself there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can't stand to not be active and working on stuff.
Yeah.
It kills me.
Yeah. Like you like sitting around watching TV is something. That's doing something. Doing nothing would be awful. I would rather break rocks. I'd literally rather break rocks
Yeah.
than do nothing.
Well, I worked at a lot of restaurants and stuff, and my thing was like, if there was nothing to do, I'd just go clean some stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't my job, just like go do, because I can't just sit there. My brain is way too active
Yeah.
for that.
Roll some silverware or something.
My brain is like one of those little hyperactive dogs. Like, come on, man, we gotta go outside. Like its tail's wagging and shit 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Like the Spike guy. Hey, Spike. Hey, Spike. Hey, Spike.
Yeah.
Hey, Spike. Eagle food. That's what I call it.
Eagle food.
Eagle food. People with those dogs that they carry in their purse, I just call that shit eagle food. It's like that dog is dead in the wild. Saw some eagles this weekend. Those motherfuckers are big.
Great band. Huge. Huge.
Living
on.
it up in the
Yeah, say, Hotel California?
California.
Wait, you saw some eagles?
Yeah, bald eagles.
Well, they are aging. No.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
all right. Now I
male-
got to get rid of that joke.
Male
Okay.
pattern bald eagles.
Right? They're a little insecure.
Yeah.
The best a man can be.
What's next?
Stoner thoughts.
People would pay a lot more attention in college if they were given a job first, then sent to school to learn how to do it.
Yeah, that doesn't even get a whoa. That's like, yeah,
Oh,
no shit.
No well.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
Decide what you want to do, then go to school for it.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
But then there's no sort of exploratory period where you're trying to figure it out. But I guess you wouldn't be wasting any money. Sort of like your freshman year of college where you're like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to take a class in English. I'm going to try art.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. And then you find out like, oh, hey, I'm good at long division. I guess I'll be a math major.
Yeah, I just feel like that's a luxury, not a given. That should be a luxury. The biggest thing I learned in college was literally the networking that I did. Like the people that I met and the career that I ended up doing, I still work with the people that I met in college. And that was definitely useful. But the classes that I took, the actual classes that I took were useless. I could have gotten an F in every class and still been in the same place.
Still been able to make rap battles?
Still been able to make rap battles. Still. I might have spelled worse, but I still spell pretty bad.
Right. And now I don't talk good.
Talk bad. I do know my there, and theirs, and my your, and yours, though. That shit drives me nuts.
Well, you're ahead of 85% of the internet.
God, that drives me nuts. Listen, people. If it's you are, it's you apostrophe R-E. If it's possessive, it's just the R at the end. That's so easy.
Not for
Your
half the stories we talk about, I go, this would be so easy to solve, whatever this issue is. But
yeah.
no, that's not the way humans want to be. Learning? I don't have time for learning.
Yeah.
Come
I
on.
guess not.
I got some fork knife to play.
Fork knife.
So
Ah.
there's this great story. There's a high school student, 16 years old in Texas, at was it Trezevant High School, and he was having an affair with his teacher, who I believe was 24 years old.
Hot.
And
He's 16. She's 24.
I believe so. Yeah.
All right.
He threatened to expose their relationship after she refused to pay him $140 that she owed him.
She owed it to him.
I guess.
She should have
And
just paid him.
She didn't. I guess she didn't pay it, and he outed her.
Oh my God.
And now she's charged with 2 counts of sexual battery.
Oh man, that's just Darwinism at its best, man. That's just let it take care of itself.
I don't want them to procreate, so I'm
right.
really glad.
Right.
I'm really glad. But yeah, they were involved for about 3 months, sexually involved, and they found there were 240 text messages between the two. And the one, sorry, I had to write this down because I thought it was so funny. I'll read it in what I think his voice was. He said, "I got proof of everything. So 140 tomorrow or your career over. On my grandma."
On my grandmama's grandmama.
He put that on his grandma, so you know he means business.
$140? I mean, I guess if you're a public school teacher, that's a lot of money. We should pay our teachers more. But
right, there's proof. If there's ever proof that the teachers were justified in going on strike.
Shit on the line. Damn. I wonder what he wanted to buy with that $140.
I don't know. You can't even get an Xbox for that now, can you?
Barely can get a game with a decent upgrade.
Maybe a new pair of Jordans or something? I don't know what the 16-year-olds are into.
Dang.
He put that on his grandma. So
Dude.
But he was also expelled last March for throwing rocks at her car.
Okay.
So they've been in a turbulent relationship.
What subject does she teach?
That ass?
That the best a man can get. I think I mean, this sounds mild to me because I grew up in the town. Remember the Pamela Smart trial?
No.
Pamela Smart was a teacher in New Hampshire that had an affair with a student of hers and then convinced the student to murder her husband. And he did. And so that happened like the town over from me, but the case got tried in the town where I lived in Exeter, New Hampshire. So it was all over the news and there was just cars and everything everywhere. And that shit happens, man. A 23-year-old person and an 18 or 17-year-old person, that's not that far apart. You know what I mean? If you're 24, 23 years old, I don't condone it, but you can understand how that might happen. You know what I mean? It's not out of the, it's not, people got married at different, back in the day, like my grandparents got married when they were like 15 or some shit like that, you know? That's not that odd.
So tell us more about how big of an R. Kelly fan you are.
How is he still alive? How is he still making it happen?
But how are you saying that about R. Kelly when that was the pushback with him? He married Aaliyah. She was 15. He was 27.
I'm not condoning it. I'm not condoning it at all. I'm just saying you can see how it would happen. You can see how if they just were two people who met.
Right. If they didn't have that teacher-student relationship, if they were Romeo and Juliet.
Right.
In fact, 100 years ago, that
wouldn't
they
even
would have been marriage age.
Yeah,
that would have been fine.
It would have been one person ago.
Right. So it's our generation that's the assholes. I get it.
Yeah. No, but like that Pamela Smart thing was nuts. He murdered her husband so they could be together or whatever. So this guy got off easy. On my grandma, she did.
Did it work out?
No, she's in jail.
Oh.
I think they're both in jail.
Probably, yeah.
I think they're both.
Hey, bro.
It was Pamela Smart, right? That was the name of it, yeah.
Hey, bro, you know that teacher whose husband I murdered?
Oh, hell yeah.
I did her.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wow. Yeah, what is this? This can't be a recent thing. I think it's just reported on more. But you hear these stories of teachers sleeping with students. And for like the last, I'd say, decade and a half, a lot of these are really coming out. And it's feels like it's more often female teachers with male students?
I
Or is
think
it
so.
just reported that way? Or is it just that the sample size is askew because there are more female teachers than there are male?
That's a great question. I mean, I feel like you hear in college, you hear about girls sleeping with the professors more. And I think it's,
Yeah.
because it's a college and because you're over 18 and maybe it's a little bit more, it's like almost like a fantasy kind of a thing. The female sleeping with the male in high school, I agree. You definitely hear about that more. I think that if you're a dude and you're sleeping with the female teacher, you feel cool about it, and so it's like considered less of a crime maybe amongst you as the kid. So maybe you feel better about it. I don't know. I'm not quite sure why that is.
Well, if you're
Or either that or because maybe a guy looks like a man at that point. You maybe like there are some 18-year-old kids, 17-year-old kids who look like men. They're big, full grown type of people. And nature just takes over, man.
Well, it's just a weird thing. I think if you're 16 and you're sleeping with anyone, you're feeling good about it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Hey, you know that, bro, you know that human, that person
Yeah.
did it.
Nice. Oh, yeah. I can't figure it. I think that's what's a statutory rape, right? That's the law you are breaking is statutory rape.
I think it varies state to state, but I would hope so. I mean, talk about an abuse of power in the Me Too movement, where
Sure.
it has become taboo for a boss to date their subordinate.
What if it's a student and a teacher, but they're not like, you don't take Spanish?
It's not your teacher.
Yeah,
I still think I'm still not okay with it.
but I don't take Spanish.
I get that. I get that. But you'll know some Spanish when all that's done.
Hey, honestly, dude, I think it's the phones. I think the ability for students and teachers to have that contact. Can you imagine in the 80s, like the teacher calling the student's house and then to just chit chat on the phone? That would not happen.
No,
There was a
teacher
barrier
calling your
there.
house in the 80s.
Bad call.
You were about to get your ass whooped.
Exactly. So, but now there's that anonymity there, and there's that independence there, the communication. You can have 250 text messages with a student, and no one will be the wiser. So I feel like that's why we're hearing more about it, because there's the access.
Right. Well, there's also leaves a digital paper trail with all these
Sure.
texts. Now you can prove it.
Sure.
Look, here was the nude she sent me. Here was the "you up" text she sent me. Look at this arrangement of emojis ending with an eggplant.
Eggplant.
It all equals sex, man.
What's you up? I don't know that one.
You up? Hey,
Oh,
girl.
the you up.
Hey, girl,
I
you
thought that
up?
was it. There should be an app. There should be a hookup app called You Up, and
You
it just
Up?
be you up.
That's got to be a thing.
I hope you heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. This and chopstick straws. It's my claim to fame.
Chopstick straw.
Yeah, so you can have soup. You heard it here first.
You got to go patent this stuff, man.
Everybody's got one good invention in them, I think. Everybody's got one good invention in them.
So, I don't know if you've been reading this lately, but apparently YouTube they're actively trying to kill and suppress conspiracy theory videos. I hate to say I told you so, because I don't think you ever disagreed with me, but I've always pointed conspiracy theories out as a big deal. Like everyone likes to dismiss them and say, well, it's just these people making their art and these people concerned about this. And I've always looked at them as like, no, this is a like big deal. And now that we're in the fake news era,
Right.
and there's a bigger spotlight on this stuff, YouTube has decided to take action, and they're actively suppressing anything that registers on their radar as a conspiracy theory.
But what is a like here's my problem with that is something like some of the most groundbreaking science and theories of man's history could have been described as conspiracy theories until they were proven true, i.e. the world is round, or the earth revolves around the sun, not the other way around, or religion.
Sure.
Arguably still a conspiracy theory. A
Sure.
guy got killed and then reborn after a couple of days, and then, he fucking, Rick Grimes and went back and then walked the earth forever. That stuff is, how can you define what is a conspiracy theory and what is just a theory?
Well, that's not for me to define.
It's for
Right.
YouTube to define?
Yes, it is in this case because it's their platform. And you know, there might be some altruism there. They might be trying to do the right thing. I don't know. My guess is that they're looking out for their ad dollars.
Always.
You
If
know
you
what I'm
think
saying?
anything else, you're stupid. Not
And-
you, I mean you.
You mean literally me? I feel personally attacked.
Yeah.
Why the hostility?
You can back down, Ray. You're still a man.
Okay. Can I cry?
Yes.
So I feel like YouTube is looking out for their ad dollars. I feel like it's becoming, these advertisers are saying, look, AT&T or someone is saying, look, I don't want to put my ad on this flat Earth video.
Right.
Like I don't want it running against that.
Sure.
There are liabilities here.
That's their right.
Especially when you think about Pizzagate and some of these conspiracy theories where people got seriously hurt or killed or whatever. And any talk of that to an advertiser makes them, run the other direction. So I get it. I get like everyone involved is trying to protect their interests, their
Yeah.
business interests.
But no one bats an eye when you put an ad against a cliff jumping commercial, or a video, or like a parkour video, or some
Because
BMX video.
They
Where
are trained professionals. Do not try this at home.
But how many kids have killed themselves doing that? Or like that wing gliding shit?
Hopefully a lot of them because they look ridiculous in those wing gliding suits.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're also, another thing is they're also cracking down on dangerous pranks. They're starting to remove them. They remember that what's the Paul brothers did the Bird Box prank or something that we mentioned the other day?
Yeah.
It was they apparently removed that video altogether. So anything
That's
that even
their right.
resembles dangerous, like YouTube's really trying to clean up. And I don't blame them. You've seen Twitter become a cesspool, and you've seen sort of parts of YouTube that have become a cesspool,
Right.
and all this stuff. And YouTube is now known as a place where conspiracy theories thrive, and it's full of conspiracy theorists and incels. And
What are the flat Earth one and Pizzagate?
I can give you the categories because
Yeah.
they talked about in the article I read. They talk about the categories. So the categories are miracle cures.
Okay, sure.
So-
Drink snake's blood. And
Like junk science. Things that misrepresent historical events.
the Holocaust never happened.
Yes. And flat Earth. Like flat Earth gets its own category.
But why is that dangerous? If someone wants to believe the Earth is flat, then great. Who cares?
It may not be dangerous, but I don't think that they're looking at it that way. I think they're looking at it like, Comcast doesn't want to put their ads on a flat Earth video.
Yeah.
And we need to serve these ads up. Also, it's could be bad for their reputation
Yeah.
too.
Well, that's the thing that drives me crazy about the flat Earth people, is that they spread their conspiracy theory via the internet and cell phones that run on satellites that could not exist if the world was flat.
Of course. But, but you're in on it too, bro.
Exactly, right?
You're in on it too.
I'm in on it.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I think it's a slippery slope, man. I understand trying to protect people from dangerous things, and that's good. But there's going to be a certain level of bullshit out there, and you can't protect everybody from all of it. And like I said, sometimes some things will end up like weed being good for glaucoma. 100 years ago, people would call that snake oil salesman and be like, that's bullshit, and that's not. There's science there now that proves that marijuana and even other drugs are good for things. They're feeding people shrooms now in Australia as a treatment for terminal cancer and euphoria and things like that. And there's that could be considered a conspiracy theory if you want to. So,
Well, when you say it with that inflection,
woo,
conspiracy
a conspiracy theory.
Whoa. I don't blame them for protecting their interest. I also don't think they want to be known as the conspiracy theory hotbed.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily saying you can't post this on our site. They're saying if you do and it gets tripped up in our algorithm, we're not going to recommend it,
Right.
and we're not going to let you run ads on it.
Yeah. Which is the same as them burying it.
Yeah, they bury it basically. They're
Yeah.
burying the story for sure.
I mean, that will work for some people. Like if you're the Logan brothers and you start a .com, you could probably just stick that on your .com and then tweet about it, and your .com's gonna get the traffic anyway. Now it might be hosted on a YouTube video, but if you the problem I think is gonna happen is some other platform that has lesser values is gonna pop up, and it's gonna get populated by bad things and grow because it'll be like separating the good from the bad, and then the bad is gonna thrive someplace.
A sort of like 4chan of video
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, I can tell you what I think was going to happen. I think that they're going to keep going after categories of things. So they go after sort of conspiracy theories and they suppress them. And they try to make it so that your average person who comes here to watch a cat video doesn't end up watching a fake moon landing video, right?
Right.
So then they suppress fake pranks. Same thing. If you came here to watch a clip of The Late Show, they don't want you to watch, one of the Paul brothers doing the "Let's Light My Sister on Fire" challenge,
Right.
or whatever,
Jesus.
right? So the next thing I think that they're going to go after is I don't know what else to call it, but like the incel culture
Incel, what do
in
you mean?
YouTube. The sort of misogynist bro. I just owned a feminist, like weird subculture
yeah.
that really, really thrives on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think that the spotlight is going to be on that culture in the next 2 or 3 years.
Sure. I
in
mean,
some way.
they're already filtering language in chats and in live streams. We've seen
Yeah.
that. We talked about the Red Dead Redemption guys that were going on the
Punching the feminist
feminist
in the video game, yeah.
and that type of stuff. Yeah, I think that if you're a website that wants to uphold good values, that to me is much more justifiable. Where it's like, hey man, we're not really into propagating that kind of a thing. I can get behind that, but not all conspiracy theories lead to violence. It just leads to people being dumber.
No, I get, and not all feminists just got owned videos lead to
Abuse.
abuse or anything like that, or even actual misogyny. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so if you start to break these things down into categories and stuff, and you say like, I'm trying to think of a really offensive thing that would get through but not be removed. Something like, black people already have equal rights. They don't deserve,
Right.
this or that or whatever. Something that when someone says it, you go, God damn, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. That's
Right.
they're sort of doing that right now, but about feminism and about women. Like that stuff is happening. Not all of it, but there's an entire culture here that is just like, what about toxic femininity?
Yeah.
And that kind of shit. And then they go into this whole sub argument, really like bashing women and taking this like 1% of women who physically bully
Yeah.
and making it into this big deal or whatever, because they're trying to prove a point, and really they just come across as if they're hating women.
Yeah.
Whether they have a point or not, it doesn't matter at that point. Whether the conspiracy theorist has any kind of point or not, it doesn't matter. The point is he's propagating a conspiracy theory, and YouTube doesn't want that on their site. And so I think they're going to go after the incel culture.
I wouldn't be surprised. It becomes a question. So it starts to become a question of like, if the majority of people are communicating and speaking over social networks, and free speech is a right, can you challenge YouTube's ability to do that and monetize that? Like at some point, people are going to talk just as much online as they do in the real world.
Yeah.
But in the real world, no one owns this room, so they can't charge me or tell me what I can or can't say. It's the federal law is what governs it. I wonder at what point will the federal law govern a platform's right to police the content of its platform, because it's like it becomes public domain after a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, if 100% of people spoke on YouTube, that's where everybody talks, just
Yeah.
hypothetically, would you be able to legally, as YouTube, be like, well, it's our site, so we can control what you're saying? Or is it more like the people are like, no, this is where people talk now, and you have the right of free speech?
Well, then I would presume it would have to be publicly funded
Right.
at that point.
Yeah,
Like the
and then you
government
couldn't-
would have to intervene and take over and all that. But the thing is, I mean, we can all want free speech all we want, but there's still going to be rules. Even if
Yeah.
the government takes over, like there's still rule. Like if there were no rules on YouTube or any other, or Facebook or Instagram or any other video platform, it would all be porn. First of all, like every video would be porn.
Right.
Every recommended video would be porn.
Sure.
Every next video, all of it. So even if the government intervenes, there are levels of things that they wouldn't allow as well.
Yeah.
Porn probably would be one of them.
Yeah. And that's doing
And
just
hate
fine.
speech and all kinds of stuff. So then you're getting right back into this zone that we're in of like, okay, so what? All right, so we can't do hate speech. I get that. Okay, but what's hate speech?
Yeah. After a while, it's all becomes like when ABC, NBC, and CBS were the three major networks, and everything has to be like squeaky clean like that. It's just what I'm saying. That's when Fox pops up and FX pops up and all these HBO and Showtime. And there's a market for things that are more tolerant, and there are companies that are willing to advertise to those people. You know, like
No, and they should.
and they should.
They should.
And that's hopefully that'll adjust for itself. But it's a new age. That's the way that YouTube is now in terms of the adpocalypse was already like 2.5 years ago, 3. I think it's kind of swinging back a little bit. But I think they should just make it easier for the Comcats of the world to be able to say, let me click this button and this button and this button. If it says flat earth or if it identifies it, I don't want to be a part of it. But if somebody else doesn't give a shit, you know, if Joe's right-wing ankle socks wants to advertise against the flat earth, then fine, let him. Maybe those are his people anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're already doing that.
Hey, bro, you know those flat earthers?
Flat in what way, bro?
I did them.
Yeah.
Right off the edge, I did them. Yeah, I don't care. I honestly, this is the cynic in me. I don't care if they suppress the flat earthers because fuck those people.
Right. I just had an awful thought.
Go ahead. Do
What
tell.
Imagine if a guy saw the Gillette commercial and was like, "That's me," and then slit his wrist with a Gillette razor.
The irony, sir.
The irony.
Wow. Shakespeare Alquest over
I
here.
know. Thank you very much.
Wow.
And scene.
That's I mean, or what if what if he just went and bought a Bic just to spite, but Bics kind of sucks, so he couldn't quite slit his I don't know where I'm going with this.
dull Bic.
Yeah. I just created the sequel that failed
Yeah.
to your movie.
Oh boy.
All right, guys. Oh, wait,
Where are we at?
there.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry. That was awkward. That was a pregnant pause.
Pregnant menopause.
All right,
Hey.
all right. This is the part of the show where we crown a king. We basically just review everything that we talked about. The game made more sense in the early days of the podcast. Now it makes less sense, but fuck it. Let's just keep doing it.
Yeah.
So,
What did we talk about
we
today?
have Jussie Smollett, the guy who was attacked in Chicago. We have the APA and their guidelines on toxic masculinity.
Okay.
We have the company that swears it will brainwash someone for you on
Right.
Facebook for
What's the name of that? I don't even want to support that company.
Okay, I can tell you, but the high school student who had an affair with the teacher over $140. I love that story. And then YouTube actively killing conspiracy theorists.
Oh boy.
So who gets the king?
I'm gonna give the king to the APA, I guess.
That's where I was going.
I'm gonna give it to the APA for being right about what a man has to do. It's
Understanding
a
my
man's-
pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to tell it like it is, and to hopefully diffuse those drunk fights in the bar where your buddy's dad gets in a fight. You ever
Oh,
be that where it's
God.
like your buddy's dad gets in a fight? You're like, really?
Dude, get your dad.
I know.
That's not my dad, bro.
Yeah, I know. Not
That is
tonight.
not
He's
my
not.
dad.
He's not my dad tonight.
Hey, bro, you know your dad?
No.
All right, who gets the jester?
I mean, I gotta give it to the girl who threw her life away for $180.
$140. Sir.
$140 on my grandma. That was dumb.
Don't cheapen her.
Jeez. I mean, just do what the kid, and it wasn't even like he was blackmailing her. She owed him that money.
That teacher. I know. Pay up.
Pay
woman.
up. It was probably for like a Swedish massage or some sort of deep tissue, 90-minute hot stone treatment.
Maybe it was
something
for future legal fees.
Could have been. Could have been new books. Just be like a Lannister and pay your goddamn debts.
Oh my God.
Who are you giving it to?
I was gonna say
The
that.
jester?
Yeah, I was gonna say the teacher.
I guess maybe I'd have to give the jester.
And also don't fuck your students.
Yeah. And maybe
Don't bone your students. That's a
Yeah.
pretty good rule of thumb. I would say.
I would call the guys who beat up my boy in Chicago the jesters, but there's something below that. They get like the dick punch of the week. We should just make a thing called the dick punch of the week. Those guys get a straight dick punch.
The dick punch.
Oh man. Imagine you getting your ass kicked and you just got one good dick punch in.
You'd feel so good.
You would feel so much better.
You would take that you would champion that around.
Yeah. You would have it.
Give him one of these.
Yeah. Maybe you hit him with that as the dick punch
Right.
and then just kept it there. Man. So anyway, that's the show for there. That's those Jester and the King. We're here every Wednesday at noon, live streaming on the Kings of Influence YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do and hit that little bell. It'll give you a notification when we upload and when we go live. And then we also have that number. You can text the word Kings to
43506.
and you'll get a text from us telling you when we're about to go live every week. And we're here every week.
And we're on Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, anywhere where podcasts can be listened to.
Yeah.
And stick around. We got about 5 minutes after to do the live chat.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, guys. I'm Epic Lloyd.
And I'm Ray William Johnson.
See you next week.
Woo. Hey. Yeah. Yeah.